Okay, hi Joey. Just thought I would do a quick little video here on eyes. What I noticed was happening on the eye pictures that I was seeing is the left side of our brain tends to want to draw the shapes of eyes really accurately. So maybe when we go to draw an eye, we try to get the shape in by drawing lines like this. Okay, and I'll move this up. So we just draw an almond shape, or we draw it, very curved on top and flat on the bottom, whatever it looks like in the photograph that we're drawing. But what I'd like to recommend is that when you start drawing an eye, and I've drawn a couple here for examples, and I think this is Kristen Bell, maybe not. But anyway, what I started doing was I started by sketching just a very super light line at the top, and I noticed that it was the top of the peak of the eye was a little bit to the left of center. So here's the center of the eye. The curve peaked just to the left of center, and then it came kind of straight down. So I made it come straight down here. Okay, and then the lower one was just barely curved at all. But I made these lines super light just to show where the edge of the eye was. You really want to avoid making lines like this because it locks you in to maybe a little bit of the image that you really, it doesn't reflect exactly what's in here. When we look at the bottom of her eye, we can see there's the white of the eye, and then there's like this little bit of a rim here, and then there's the lashes that come off of the edge of that little rim there. The white of the eye just kind of, the value of the color of the eye just kind of bleeds right into that. We can hardly tell the difference between the white and the colored part of the eye. So if we would have drawn a dark line there, immediately that changes the look of that eye, and it takes away the realistic look, and it kind of slants over to kind of a cartoony kind of image of the eye. So we want to make sure we stay super light here. Remember, this line, there's hardly a demarcation between these two. So they kind of blend together, and we really don't see much of a difference until we start putting in these lashes here, just the little lines from the lashes. As you do lashes, especially if you're drawing people who have mascara on, or even in real life, the lashes tend to come down and almost, they start separated. They're separated at where they emerge from the lid, but then a lot of times they kind of clump together. So what I did was, it's almost like a really tall, skinny V shape, okay, or tall, skinny A. So the lashes come out. I'm gonna draw this really dark, even though shouldn't be dark. The lashes come out, and a lot of times they clump together, and they're very super pointy at the end. So when you do that, you might have to just make a teeny little tick with your pencil. I'm gonna do a really dark one here. It's about line quality, and if we start like at the edge of a lash and do a little flick like that, and do it really super light, you can see that this end of the line looks different than that end of the line. I press the paper and then do a little flick. It's very pointy at that side, and it's very thick at that side. So if you're going to do lashes, make sure you kind of lift your pencil up at the end so you get that super light look and that pointy look at the end. That's a little bit of a line quality that you can practice drawing. Another thing that I'd like to talk about is when I was drawing this eye, I drew the lines that were about the shape of the eye super light, and when it came time to color in the pupil, I tend to hold my pencil, especially for this curve here. And it should be the same for right-handers or left-handers. If we hold our pencil still and we just kind of plant our hand on the table and we just flex our wrist, you can see it makes a beautiful curving shape. We can't even help it. It's just such a natural curve we can do. Whether you hold your pencil like this or like this. I like to hold my pencil kind of flat when I get down in here. And again, to do this curve here, I make sure the point of the pencil is at the outside edge of what I want to draw. And then I draw this. Now when it comes to this side, this is such a short side, I can do it this way. Otherwise, I might want to turn my paper around so I can make use of that curve, that natural curve that I can do with my hand, get by flexing my wrist. Okay, but I think I see the problem is that, and I'll look at another photograph here. Now this guy, He does have an eye shape that's very small, that's very gently curved at the bottom. He's got a hooded eyelid here, so that it comes down over his eye a little bit. And so he does have a shape there, but be really careful not to represent that with a straight line like this. It's better represented with a thicker line or a very, very light line. Once you start representing the eye with these kind of lines, you get locked into a look, and then at the end you may not be really happy with the look because it looks a little bit too you maybe can't even identify what it is. You can't identify what it is wrong with it, when it really should be just this little subtle difference here that should not be shown with a solid line. So make sure, be really careful as you're doing your eyes that you can super lightly sketch in the shape. Look to see where the peak of that curve is. Look to see where it curves down at the bottom. What I noticed about hers was too, this lid line here slanted up, and it didn't start to come down until well past her eye. Like if this is the peak of that curve, it's way past, it's almost past the edge of the white, just because of how her head is turned. All these tiny little minute differences that you discover just by forgetting that it's an eye. Look at the slant, look at the curves, and try to figure out how to draw them. You really have to divorce yourself from words in your head like, oh, that lid, or oh, let's see, how do I draw that eye? They're strictly shapes, okay? And I still do want you to make sure that you're scanning your eye across, especially for this guy. If I draw both of his eyes, if I'm sketching them all out, I would have a gentle curve that comes up here, and I move my eye across, and it connects to that eye in a gentle curve like that, which you wouldn't expect because we tend to draw a straight line across to draw our eyes, but he's got a curve there. If you can recognize that curve and draw the curve, lift your pencil, draw the curve, it kind of unites those two images, those two features, and makes your drawing look more unified. So for now, when you go to draw eyes, make sure you avoid drawing these kind of heavy lines. I don't think it'll give you kind of what you're looking for on there. So, okay, I'll get this online and you can take a look at it. Thanks, Joy. Bye.